Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something that goes way beyond the usual motivational stuff. We're examining a really highly structured, phased protocol.
It's basically a performance roadmap.
A roadmap, exactly. It's designed to shift your mind and your body into a peak performance state.
Yeah, and what we have here, it's not just a list of good habits. It's more like an engineering manual for being intentional. The sources lay out this whole sequence, turning a regular morning into this deliberate prep for a high-stakes competition.
And even though the source material is focused on golf, our mission here is to unpack these critical transition zones.
Exactly. From the moment you wake up to when you step into the arena, so to speak. We're going to show you how to apply these techniques to move from what the research calls reactive mode to conscious leadership.
And the whole philosophy behind it seems to be an antidote to our modern digital lives, right? The core idea is don't start your day in reaction.
That's it. You have to begin the day as the version of yourself you want to be when the pressure is on.
If you don't design your morning, the world designs it for you.
Oh,
So let's start at the very beginning, the foundation, what they call morning activation. The sources say the first 5 to 10 minutes after waking up are the single most critical window. Why that specific time?
Well, because that little window, it basically sets the baseline for your entire nervous system, for your mindset, your emotional state for the whole day.
So if your first move is grabbing your phone,
You're immediately spiking cortisol. You're putting your brain into like a state of triage. You start the day as a passenger, just reacting to whatever comes at you. The instruction is so clear. You have to be the architect of your own state right from the start.
so the first action, awaken with intention, is really just about immediate stillness. You sit up, you avoid the phone, and you silently affirm your desired state.
Yeah, the one they suggest is, today I choose to play with freedom, focus, and full presence.
And this isn't about, forcing some kind of fake happiness, is it?
No, not at all. It's about priming the subconscious, setting a direction, and that connects right into action two, which is create a calm start. For those first few minutes, no digital distractions. You just sit, feel your feet on the floor, and, just notice your breathing.
And to help with that, the source offers a very specific tool. How do they recommend we move into that calm, alert state?
They recommend the centering breath. And it's a very specific timed pattern, the 4-4-6-2 pattern.
Okay, break that down for us.
You inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, you hold for 4, you exhale slowly for 6, and then you just pause for 2 seconds. And you repeat that maybe 4 to 6 times.
Let's go a bit deeper on that. Why that specific pattern, the longer exhale especially, why is that so much better than just taking a few deep breaths?
Okay, so this is what's fascinating. The prolonged exhale is the key. It actively stimulates the vagus nerve,
Right.
which, runs from your brainstem down to your abdomen.
Yeah.
And stimulating it basically signals to your body that it's safe. It's the fastest way to increase your heart rate variability, your HRV.
And high HRV is what allows athletes to stay level-headed under pressure.
Exactly. So this breath pattern, it isn't just a coping mechanism, it's a direct control input for your nervous system.
Oh, so it's not a feel-good exercise. It's a physiological regulation tool.
Yeah.
Then, after regulating the body, we're supposed to regulate our vision with a mental picture of the day.
Yes. You close your eyes and you visualize a short, like 10 to 20-second movie trailer of your day. You see yourself with confident posture, calm, steady breath. You're anchoring the version of yourself you want to be before you've even faced a single problem.
So we've regulated the body and primed the mind at home. Now we hit phase 2, the transition zone on the way. It's usually the car ride, right? Bridging home life and performance life.
And you have to treat this time as sacred. It's a deliberate space to shed the residue of home and let go of all that external static. If you use this time for phone calls or listening to the news, you basically undo all the good work you just did.
The first tactic here is music for state shaping. And they advise against anything too aggressive or, adrenaline pumping. Why is that? Wouldn't a power anthem get you psyched up?
Well, the goal isn't hype. The goal is regulated readiness. Hype is unstable. It's too high on the arousal curve, and that often leads to poor decisions under pressure.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
You want music with steady energy, a focused rhythm, something that supports calm confidence.
And while the music is setting the external tone, you start the internal work with mental priming. This is proactive self-talk.
This is where you shift that inner voice from being a critic to being a coach, and the sources have some great examples of phrases that shift your focus away from just the results.
Like what?
They suggest things like, I'm here to explore how good I can be today. See the difference, not I must score well, but I'm here to explore.
I like that.
Another really powerful one is, I don't need perfect, I need presence. This is huge because perfection is just a paralyzing illusion. But presence. Presence is something you can actually control.
So that shift in language is a massive psychological lever. But what happens when you hit traffic? Or you get a frustrating text right before you leave? It's easy to say this stuff when everything's calm.
And that's why the system is built with these little resilience tactics. They suggest breath check-ins at red lights. The red light is an unavoidable pause, so you use that pause. Take 3 deep, slow breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale even slower through the mouth. It's a tactical reminder that you are staying in charge no matter what's happening around you.
It's an external trigger for an internal state. So the takeaway is, use the drive to lower noise and raise attention. All right, we've arrived at the venue. Segment 3 is grounding in intent, the pre-warm-up. Why is there a whole phase before the physical warm-up even starts?
Because the biggest enemy of clarity is being rushed. If you're scattered on the inside, your physical movements are just going to reflect that chaos. Your internal state dictates the quality of your physical prep.
And that's why action 1 is just arrive early.
Strictly 60 to 75 minutes before you need to start, you have to eliminate the variable of being rushed.
So once you have that time buffer, you start with body activation.
Yep, 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic stretching. But the mindset here is key. You're not forcing anything. You're just checking in with your body with control and curiosity. Hips, spine, shoulders, waking the system up.
And after the physical check-in, there's the mind activation walk, a very short, silent walk.
Just 30 to 60 seconds. This walk is for mental arrival. You feel the ground, you notice your surroundings, and you repeat a silent affirmation. I am here. I belong here. I trust myself. You're anchoring yourself to the location.
And then, before any practice, you set the mental rhythm with a reset word.
Exactly. You pick one single anchor word like smooth, quiet, target, or flow, and you repeat it during those stretches or the walk. This word has to settle into your system. It becomes your mental shortcut for when things get tough later on.
Now we're at the core of the physical prep. Segment 4, training trust the warm-up and final shift. So if the other phases were about engineering the state, this is about expressing confidence in it.
And the big mistake here is people try to fix their mechanics. The warm-up is not the time for that. It's for building trust, establishing your tempo, and confirming your focus on the target. You anchor the process, you don't chase perfection.
So how does the practice structure reflect that focus on trust?
They recommend a 50-50 split. 50% is technical rhythm work, just focusing on feel, tempo, finding your cadence. The other 50% has to be pre-shot routine reps with random targets. You're simulating real-world shots.
You're practicing how to prepare, not just what to do.
That's it. And that brings us to the actual pre-shot routine. The sources are very specific about the steps.
And the key metric they stress, it's not how many good shots you hit.
No, it's how many shots felt fully committed and clear. That's the real training outcome you're looking for.
And, crucially, you always finish with the short game.
Always. 5 to 10 minutes of chipping and putting. It calms the nervous system down and refines your feel. They even suggest a little pressure drill. The 3-ball putting drill from 3 feet. You have to make 3 in a row to finish. It's a low-stakes dose of pressure before the real thing.
Okay, we've established trust and feel.
Yeah.
Now the final phase, the final 5 minutes. This is the last chance for that state shift.
This is the moment you move from the training environment to the competitive one, and the transition has to be slow and deliberate. You walk slowly towards the first tee or the podium, and you let your attention sink into your body.
And you use that keyword one last time.
You anchor it. You repeat your chosen word, tempo, target, softly, in rhythm with your steps. It becomes the bridge from thought to action.
Now here's a concept I think is just brilliant, and it applies to any high-pressure situation, the playbox drill. Can you explain that?
It's a fantastic structural tactic. When you're strategizing, choosing your approach, visualizing the shot, you're in what they call the think box. That's for prep. The moment you step into the play box, so stepping up to the ball or walking to the microphone, you instantly clear your mind. You focus only on the target and you execute with full trust. The physical line you cross forces a separation of analysis and action.
So you eliminate that classic mistake of thinking while you're doing.
The absolute killer of performance. And for that very first action, there's the first T rule. 1 slow breath, followed by 1 clear thought, like play with freedom, and then you go.
Let's try to synthesize this whole roadmap for everyone. We had 5 phases. In the morning, we started with the centering breath, setting the nervous system's tone.
Then the drive was about managing inputs. The right music, proactive self-talk, shifting from outcome to process. The pre-warm-up was all about grounding yourself.
Right, the walk, the body activation, and setting that core cue word.
And the warm-up was training trust, not mechanics. Using that 50-50 split and focusing on committed routines.
And finally, those critical final 5 minutes, using the think box, play box drill to separate thought from action.
And for anyone who wants to really embed these habits, the sources recommend tracking your commitment to the system, not your results.
So, a daily log.
A simple one. Did you do your breathing? How much time on your routine? What was your cue word? And maybe a score on your commitment for the day. It reinforces that your control is in the process.
This whole protocol is a framework for turning internal chaos into structured confidence. But what's the one final piece of self-reflection this all really hinges on?
I think it all comes down to ownership
Yeah.
and honesty. When you look back at any high-stakes day, this process forces you to ask two really crucial questions. First, where did my attention go when I was under pressure?
And the second,
And the most critical question of all, did I begin the day, the presentation, the negotiation in readiness or in reactivity? If you can honestly answer readiness, then the performance, whatever it is just an expression of all that conscious preparation.